Now, what I find very important in this contemplation of the beautiful is that there is what I came across in Nietzsche termed the otherworldly afterlife, and then there is reality and the everyday. And when we can look at the everyday common to all of us through the eyes and seeing the divinely superfluous beauty in life here, that's very life affirming. But if we spend the majority of our time going to a metaphysical place, that ultimately is life negating, unless there is some practical application here in the world. Now, one might argue that carving stone and wood just for the divinely superfluous beauty of it is not practical. And for a great many people it isn't. Be that as it may, I still admire. There's something, I can respect a machine, but I can admire beauty. And I think a lot of it comes from, knowledge. If you know how something is built, you can see the beauty of it. Anyway, those are just some ideas. But as I was talking to this guy, I realized that I needed to reread that, because in my rendition of the development of civilization, I was saying that as I see it at this point, first comes culture, not society. But in that definition that Toynbee gave, it's very straightforward. Yeah, society would come, and it's just the relationships between peoples. That's all it is. However, for me, culture, the idea of culture I first ran across in Spengler. And I liked Spengler's, he also talked about something called Dasein. And then I recently found out from a lecture by John David Ebert that Heidegger also has his view of Dasein, and it's a German term, and it has something to do with the blood, the life pulse, and it's rather unconscious. I think Spengler differentiates plant-like consciousness and then animal-like consciousness. So there's two levels there, and I'm just trying to absorb all these terms and conditions and all this stuff. But in my mind at this point, culture comes before society. Culture is a life pulse of vigor, of vitality, in which out of this vigor and vitality comes relationships. And so society and the social constructs arise out of culture. And then from society, once it becomes patterned, then it becomes civilization. And anything could happen. Any kind of pattern can occur in this way. Any kind of pattern of society, and it's all related to the Dasein, the life pulse, the vigor and vitality of the individuals. And the vigor and vitality can be brought about by all kinds of environmental situations. Depends on our response. But the more civilized a country, the more civilized a person becomes, the more patterned their responses are into a social construct. And the more patterned something becomes, the more civilized, the less room for a natural, innate, vigorous, vital response, because it has to be channeled into very specific societal channels. And this limits it. Now, there's always a possibility, like I said, that the civilization can reach towards divinely superfluous beauty. And this brings in divinity, which is religion, the spiritual, the metaphysic. Superfluous brings in the idea that there's more than is necessary. So there's something beyond the necessity and the needs and the demands placed upon the individual. And beauty, well, now there's a topic. Which at its root is a mystery as to its purpose and meaning, except we understand, that it's wonderful. I like that term, wonderful, awe-inspiring, full of wonder and awe. Divinely superfluous beauty. That's what I think the point to any civilization is. How they get there, however, is based on their societal goals. And those societal goals are basically inoculations and physical therapies, psychological therapies too, to process their own negative tendencies and issues that are blocking them from their liberation. So society is just a school. It's just a school playground for the school. This is where we go and do all these things and work out all our issues. And I said it earlier that, and I ran across this in Carl Jung, that religion is basically each group of people in their religious doctrine has their own psychological maladies and their own physical and psychological maladies and disorders and dis-eases, things that put them at dis-ease. And the religion is there to, as a medicine, a psychotherapy, so to say, to process them through their issues. So it's not an answer in and of itself, it's just another school that helps process them through. Ultimately, it comes to a point in many orthodoxies that it comes to an absolute mystery. It brings the individual into contact with the absolute mystery of life and the universe and creation. And in the orthodox, they usually have to remove themselves from society and remove themselves from civilization completely. And they're not engaged economically, and this is where I come in with the priestly. The priestly is not concerned with the economic concerns of the time. The true priest. And this servitude to the needy and the suffering is just another school. It's just another level of development process to the divinely superfluous beauty, which informs all things.